You see, there's no artist, let me be clear, there's no artist in this industry that's doing major numbers with these platforms that haven't sold their soul.
Ladies and gentlemen, she's a lot of things. She's spectacular, actually.
Yes.
And congratulations on new mamahood.
Yes.
Rihanna, Beyoncé, and Jay-Z. 3 names that hold immeasurable power, influence, and magnetism in the music world. But behind the glittering awards, sold-out concerts, and billion-dollar empires lies a web of whispered betrayals, unspoken alliances, and secrets that could shatter the pristine images of some of Hollywood's most untouchable stars. And right now, all eyes are on Rihanna, whose rumored fallout with Beyoncé and Jay-Z has reignited whispers of a betrayal so deep it could unravel the carefully constructed facade of the Carter empire.
Beyoncé and Jay-Z will do anything to destroy anyone who speaks out against them.
For years, Rihanna has played the role of the silent observer, keeping her cards close to her chest. But was her silence just professional discretion, or was it something far more calculated? Speculation has been running wild ever since that viral clip of Rihanna smirking when the topic of Diddy's infamous gatherings was mentioned. To some, it was just a coy reaction. To others, it was a signal, a subtle acknowledgement that she knows exactly what went down behind those velvet ropes. What did Rihanna see during her time in the Carter-Diddy circle? And why, after years of keeping her distance, is she now on the brink of breaking her silence? The tension between Rihanna and the Carters has been bubbling beneath the surface for years, but it's only now that the pieces of the puzzle are starting to fall into place. Let's not forget the years of speculation about the strained relationship between Rihanna and Beyoncé. On the surface, they maintained an air of professionalism, but the cracks were always visible. Industry insiders whispered about jealousy, rivalry, and ego clashes. But what if the truth is far darker? Was Rihanna frozen out of the Carter circle because she refused to play by their rules? Or did she leave voluntarily after witnessing behaviors she simply couldn't condone?
Genius.
Beyonce.
Gorgeous. A stab to my self-esteem.
One thing's for sure, Rihanna's refusal to collaborate with Beyoncé has always been a glaring red flag. For 2 of the most powerful women in music, it's almost unthinkable that they've never joined forces creatively. And yet, Rihanna has consistently kept her distance. Was this a deliberate move to avoid entangling herself further in the Carter web? Some industry insiders believe Rihanna saw the cracks forming in the empire long before the rest of the world did. Her decision to carve out her own path, leaving Roc Nation, building her Fenty empire, and refusing to conform to the Carter-Diddy power structure might not have been just ambition. It might have been an escape. But what exactly was she escaping from? Let's rewind to that viral moment that set the internet ablaze. When Rihanna was asked about Diddy's infamous gatherings, those opulent, exclusive soirees rumored to involve more than just business deals, her sly smirk spoke volumes. Was she hinting at something bigger? Something darker? Those parties have long been the stuff of legend, shrouded in whispers of excess, control, and even coercion. And now, as more voices begin to emerge, painting an unsettling picture of what really went on behind closed doors, we have to ask, did Rihanna witness something so disturbing that it pushed her to distance herself from the entire circle?
We love y'all, we want y'all to get it right, at least get it close to right. And obviously it's subjective, y'all don't gotta clap at everything.
The timing of Rihanna's rumored fallout with the Carters is worth examining. Her decision to leave Roc Nation, Jay-Z's powerhouse label, was seen by some as a bold move, a declaration of independence, but others believe it was a calculated escape from a toxic environment. And then there's the issue of loyalty, or the lack thereof. Rihanna was famously discovered by Jay-Z and initially signed to Def Jam under his guidance. Their relationship was once described as a mentor-protege bond, but over the years that dynamic seemed to shift. Was Rihanna's growing success a threat to Beyoncé, or did the tension stem from something even more personal?
I hear that you're a big fan of Beyonce.
The rumors of tension between Beyoncé and Rihanna have been swirling for over a decade. From the awkwardly staged photo ops at the Tidal press conference to the infamous Grammy snub that left Rihanna's fanbase outraged, the signs were always there. But perhaps the most telling moment came when Rihanna liked an Instagram post implying that the Grammy committee had snubbed her anti-album to avoid competing with Beyoncé's Lemonade. While Rihanna later dismissed the post as a misunderstanding, fans weren't convinced. Was her petty comment a slip of the tongue, or was it a veiled jab at the Carter machine? And then there's the bombshell that ties everything together. Jaguar writes incendiary allegations. Jaguar, a former industry insider, has been vocal about the dark underbelly of the music world, and her claims about Beyoncé and Jay-Z are nothing short of explosive. She alleged that the Carters were deeply entrenched in Diddy's world, a world that, according to her, was rife with manipulation, exploitation, and secrecy. Jaguar's claims were so damning that the Carters reportedly moved quickly to erase her interviews from the internet. Was this just damage control, or was it a desperate attempt to silence someone who knew too much?
Your husband, Jay-Z, had a lot to do with Rihanna's early career. And back in February, he said he thought everyone should support her in that mess with Chris Brown.
If Jaguar's allegations are true, they paint a chilling picture of an industry where power is wielded like a weapon and loyalty is a fragile, fleeting thing. And if Rihanna was ever a part of that world, her silence over the years starts to make a lot more sense. Was she protecting herself by staying quiet, or was she waiting for the right moment to speak out? The theory that Rihanna saw the writing on the wall and decided to distance herself from the Carter-Diddy circle before it collapsed is gaining traction. And let's not forget the unsettling rumors about Diddy's infamous gatherings. For years, these events have been the subject of speculation, with whispers of coercion, control, and even worse. If Rihanna was ever a guest at those gatherings, did she see something that made her walk away for good?
And I also want to thank all of the talented R&B women that came before me, like Lauryn Hill.
She was hot as fish grease.
What makes this all the more intriguing is Rihanna's recent behavior. She's been dropping subtle hints, from that viral smirk to her cryptic comments about loyalty and independence. Could this be her way of preparing the world for what's to come? If Rihanna is truly ready to break her silence, the secrets she could reveal might not just shake the Carter empire, they could bring it crashing down. But here's where things take an even darker turn. As more voices speak out about the alleged toxicity within the Carter-Diddy circle, we're reminded of the tragic story of Cassie White, a name that continues to haunt the industry. Cassie was a publicist with ties to Jay-Z, and her sudden passing in 2011 has been the subject of endless speculation. Some believe her demise was nothing more than a tragic health incident, but others aren't so sure. Cassie reportedly had knowledge of the inner workings of the music world, and shortly before her passing, she was allegedly preparing to go public with explosive information. Could her story be linked to the same secrets that Rihanna is now hinting at?
I know so much on how you got where you are, how you stepped on many people.
Jaguar rights allegations, Cassie White's mysterious passing, and Rihanna's rumored fallout with the Carters all point to a deeper, darker truth about the music industry's power players. And as Rihanna's silence begins to crack, the world is left wondering, what secrets does she hold? What did she see behind those velvet robes? And if she's finally ready to speak, will the Carter empire survive the fallout? And yet, as the whispers grow louder and the cracks in the Carter empire begin to show, their response, or lack thereof, is becoming the most suspicious piece of this puzzle. Beyoncé and Jay-Z, two of the most calculated and media-savvy figures in entertainment, have remained eerily silent as the storm around Diddy, Rihanna, and the industry's darker secrets intensifies. But make no mistake, their silence isn't one of innocence. It feels deliberate, quietly menacing. And if we've learned anything about the Carters, it's that they don't stay quiet without a reason.
You know, when you're early in your career, you feel that you have to listen. And when you buck, they buck harder.
Behind the scenes, their lawyer, Alex Spiro, has been working overtime to maintain their pristine image. Known for his aggressive tactics, Spiro has become an unseen hand in this saga, scrubbing interviews, issuing legal threats, and forcing retractions faster than most of us can keep up. When Jaguar Wright's explosive claims went viral, it wasn't long before her interviews mysteriously disappeared from platforms. Coincidence? Hardly. And let's not forget the rumors of lawsuits being drafted against anyone daring to connect the Carters to Diddy's scandal. It's a power play we've seen before: tighten the grip, control the narrative, and silence the dissenters. But here's the thing, when you try this hard to hide something, people only dig deeper. So we have to ask, if there's truly nothing to hide, why does their legal team seem so desperate to erase any trace of these allegations? The truth is, this media blackout only amplifies the sense that something bigger is at stake. Beyoncé and Jay-Z have spent decades crafting an image of untouchable perfection, fame, family, philanthropy. But now, that image feels like a smokescreen. And the more they try to control the fallout, the more they look like they're hiding something. Could it be that their connection to Diddy's infamous parties runs deeper than we know? Or is there another secret buried within their empire, one they're willing to do anything to keep hidden?
How you guys ended Carrie Hilson's career because she said something about it.
Meanwhile, Rihanna's absence from the Carter orbit speaks volumes. She was once a fixture of their world, a rising star mentored by Jay-Z himself. But over the last decade, she's pulled away, choosing independence over allegiance. Was this just a natural evolution of her career, or was it an act of rebellion? Let's not forget the Grammy moment that sent the internet into a frenzy when Rihanna took the stage to thank Jay-Z. Beyoncé's expression in the audience told a very different story. It wasn't pride, it wasn't celebration. It was a flash of something colder, something sharper. And for those who've been paying attention, it was the moment that confirmed what we'd all suspected. The tension between them wasn't just professional, it was personal. And then there's Beyoncé's track, Bow Down. At first glance, it seemed like an empowering anthem, but if you read between the lines, the lyrics feel less like encouragement and more like a warning. Bow Down wasn't a rallying cry for women in power. It was a message, dripping with condescension and dominance. Was this Beyoncé's way of sending a veiled threat to anyone who dared challenge her throne? And was Rihanna's refusal to collaborate with her not just a career choice, but a refusal to play by the Carter rules? It's starting to look like Rihanna didn't just walk away from their empire, she escaped it.
Obviously, it's subjective because, it's music and it's opinion-based, but, some things.
But as we dig deeper, the story takes an even darker turn. Because while Rihanna has been carving out her own legacy, the fallout from Diddy's lawsuits looms larger than ever. Tony Buzbee, the attorney behind the avalanche of allegations, has hinted that more big names are yet to be revealed. He's made it clear that the names we're hearing now are just the tip of the iceberg. And with the Carters' names already swirling in the rumor mill, it's hard not to wonder, could they be next? Diddy's legal troubles are nothing short of catastrophic, with dozens of allegations piling up against him in what's being called one of the most damning scandals in music industry history. The accusations range from coercive behavior to orchestrating environments that preyed on vulnerability. And the most shocking part? The lawsuits are beginning to reveal a pattern that stretches back decades, with some incidents allegedly taking place during his peak era in the late 1990s and early 2000s. These are not isolated claims. They're pieces of a much larger puzzle that paints a grim picture of the power dynamics within the industry. The question is no longer just about Diddy's guilt, but about who else in his orbit might have enabled or even participated in these alleged actions. One of the most chilling elements of these lawsuits is the recurring mention of Diddy's infamous white parties. These events, attended by A-list stars, were once seen as the ultimate symbol of exclusivity and excess. But now, they're being described in court documents as something far darker. Allegations suggest that these parties weren't just about luxury and networking, but were used as a mechanism to lure young, impressionable individuals into an environment where the lines of consent were blurred. If these claims are true, the implications are massive, not just for Diddy, but for everyone who attended these gatherings and turned a blind eye to what might have been happening behind closed doors.
Short win. It's really much more of a loss for the legal team of Jay-Z and Diddy.
Why would you say that? Because the judge was kind of harsh to Jay-Z and Diddy in her response?
Yeah, this is sort of like, if a child asks you for something and you're trying to teach them a lesson, you say, no, not right now. Go be good for a little while, then come back and ask me again.
What makes this even more disturbing is the sheer number of people who were connected to Diddy during this time. From rising stars to industry veterans, the guest lists for these parties read like a who's who of Hollywood and the music world. And while many are quick to deny any knowledge of wrongdoing, it's hard to ignore the growing suspicion that some of the biggest names in entertainment may have known more than they've let on. Could the Carters, who were known to rub shoulders with Diddy during this era, have been aware of the darker side of his empire? And if so, what does that say about their silence now? The lawsuits have also shone a light on the systemic issues within the music industry as a whole. Many of the allegations point to a culture of unchecked power, where gatekeepers like Diddy wielded immense influence over the careers and lives of aspiring artists. This wasn't just about contracts and deals, it was about control. And for those who dared to push back, the consequences were often career-ending. The accounts from the lawsuits are harrowing, detailing how victims felt trapped in a system that prioritized profit and power over accountability. If these lawsuits force the industry to confront its darkest secrets, the ripple effects could be seismic. And then there's the looming threat of what happens next. Tony Buzbee has already hinted that the most explosive names have yet to be revealed, and insiders are speculating about who might be implicated as the lawsuits continue to unfold. This isn't just a scandal for Diddy, it's a reckoning for an entire era of entertainment. As more details emerge, it becomes increasingly clear that no one who was part of this circle is safe from scrutiny. The public's appetite for answers is insatiable, and with each new revelation, the pressure mounts on those who have stayed silent for too long.
And that's not the first time we've seen this tactic, and the last time it actually worked.
And let's not forget the chilling connections that keep surfacing. Diddy's infamous gatherings, described by insiders as playgrounds for the elite, have been linked to some of the most shocking stories in the industry. And while there's no direct evidence tying Beyoncé and Jay-Z to these events, their silence speaks louder than words. If they were truly uninvolved, wouldn't they have addressed the rumors head-on? Instead, they've chosen to retreat behind their fortress of legal teams and PR strategies, leaving the public to fill in the blanks. And the blanks? They're damning. What makes this even more explosive is the timing. As Diddy faces a legal reckoning that could bring his empire crashing down, the the Carters' carefully curated image is starting to show signs of strain. The cracks are subtle, a canceled appearance here, a cryptic Instagram post there, but they're impossible to ignore. And with Rihanna standing on the outside, seemingly unbothered and unapologetic, the contrast is striking. She's thriving, she's independent, and she's untouchable. But the Carters, they're starting to look vulnerable.
It's obviously getting a whole new wave of attention and more focused attention on this victim. So I think it's going to be tied to the media cycle, if I had to guess, and how these rulings continue. And they have this celebrity name that is sort of waiting to take over the headlines when they choose to release it. So I think it will be added, but it's going to be a strategic time.
And here's where it all comes together. Rihanna's decision to distance herself from the Carter-Diddy circle wasn't just about career moves or personal growth. It was about survival. She saw the cracks forming long before the rest of us did, and she had the foresight to step away before the collapse. But now, as the walls close in on Diddy and the public turns its gaze toward the Carters, we have to wonder, what did Rihanna know? And more importantly, is she finally ready to tell us? Because if there's one thing we know about scandals like this, it's that they rarely stop with the first name. Diddy's downfall isn't just a personal tragedy. It's the unraveling of a power structure that's controlled the industry for decades. And if the Carters are truly as connected as the whispers suggest, their empire might not survive the fallout. So the question remains, will Rihanna's next move solidify her legacy as an industry disruptor, or will it expose even more disturbing truths about the music world's most powerful players? And if someone as untouchable as Beyoncé and Jay-Z can't escape scrutiny, who else in Hollywood is hiding in plain sight? Let us know what you think in the comments below. Could this be the beginning of the end for the Carter empire? Or is this just another chapter in the never-ending saga of celebrity power and scandal? Whatever happens next, we'll be watching. Stay tuned, stay curious, and remember, the truth always finds a way. Until next time, take care and keep digging.